Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am Arlecchino, King of Cards, back with another video. I'm sorry I haven't really posted in a few weeks. To tell you the truth, I really just haven't had much content and I haven't wanted to put out something mediocre. So I've kind of waited until I've had a good idea, and I think that you're going to like this one. So today we have an Argostar Eldlich deck profile, as you can see, and it's kind of all there really is to it, to be honest. But the combo video will be coming next week, and you may have seen my post on the community tab that there is a big announcement. I will get into that at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around, like and subscribe. Let's get into this. So we are going to start out with the monsters today, and they are the minority in this deck, which is kind of weird. I've never really had that before, where the monsters are the minority. So, well, apart from with Dynamorphia, but that's another trap deck. So yeah, let's get into this. So first off, we're going to just look at the Argostar package in the monsters. So first we've got our 3 copies of Argostar Glorious Adra. Now, Argostar Glorious Adra is kind of your best normal summon in this deck. It's on summon, mandatory effect. All of your all of your continuous traps cannot be responded to this turn, so that's pretty good. But then you can banish it and then place 2 Argostar continuous traps with different names from your hand and or deck face up in your spell and trap zone. So that effect is pretty good. It gives you any 2 traps from your deck, and it also gives you protection in a super clean secret rare printing. Now, the one thing you do have to look out for with Adra is that a lot of people will Veiler Imperm on summon, so do run Cool Buy Crossout if you can. I've only got Cool Buy in this deck profile to kind of allow for more non-engine, but you can definitely max out on cards like that if you want to. Next, we are running our 2 copies of Argostar's Fierce Path. So some people are just running the one of, oh yeah, Adra also has an effect to discard, banish, and one of your opponent's monster has 0 attack, so that's pretty good. But Fierce Path is definitely the worst of the 2, so you can reveal it in your hand, quick effect, return a continuous trap you control to the hand, and if you do, special summon it and set a continuous trap from your hand that can be activated this turn. So basically, you can summon it over anything, set something from your hand, and kind of get that effect again, or set something else, get an interrupt. It's a really strong card, really like having it in the deck actually, and then it also gains 700 attack and defense for each Argostar monster with a different name you control except this card. So that means if you have the trap monsters, it gains 700 per trap monster as well. So good for OTK, kind of good for your combos. It can just be a special summon though. You don't really have to use its trap ability that much. It's just nice to run it too because you like seeing the names. Next, this is also going to be our target for giant slaying a lot of the time. Next, let's look at the Eldlich engine. So first we got 2 copies of our Golden Lords. Now you could go up to 3, you could run Cursed Eldland to kind of supplement that. I'm just running the 2 Eldlich because I really want to focus on the Argostar portion of the deck. Now, I'm sure I don't need to tell you what Eldlich does, but I will anyway. You can send it and 1 spell trap from your hand to the grave, target a card on the field, send it to the graveyard. So that can be a removal, but it also gets Eldlich engraved for the second effect. If it's in your graveyard, you can send a spell trap you control to the grave, add this to your hand, then special summon a zombie from your hand, and if you do, until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 100 attack and defense, and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So effectively, you get it in the grave anyhow, then you use its effect to add it back to hand and summon it. And then that enables all of your Eldlich traps, all of your, I guess you can make your Eldlich fusion monsters. It's really strong, and I really do recommend running it at 2. I like 3, but I'd prefer 2 just to keep the Argostars pure, like I said. That is also a super clean secret rare. Finally, for the Eldlich package, we're running something interesting, and you might not have seen it before, so I'll go over it in a minute. We got 1 copy of our Wandering Titan of Tartarus. Now this card's super cheap, it is a common, and it gives the deck so much. If it's sent from the deck to the grave, you can send as many cards you control as possible to the grave, and if you do, special summon it, then send cards your opponent controls to the grave up to the number sent to the grave by this effect. Neither player can activate monster effects in response to this. If this card is sent to the grave, except from the deck, you can send a card from your hand to the grave, send a card on the field to grave. This is super strong. It is one of the best board breakers in this deck. Well, the only board breaker in this deck, but one of the best board breakers I would like to say in the game. I think a lot of people don't know how to respond to it really. And then it's also got 2600 attack. So that's pretty nice to have in this deck. And I really do recommend running this card. As for how to get this off, I'll show you in a minute. Next, we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring as a hand trap, just to interrupt our opponent's plays, try and get the most out of our deck, and really make sure our plays can go off. Finally, we have 3 copies of Effect Veiler, because this is pretty good, this format. Obviously, you don't really want to be discarding monsters for Azuna, but I think that is just going to have to happen eventually, especially with Eldlich and Argostar Glorious Adra. So running 3 Veiler to kind of interrupt your opponent's play, say interrupt the Azuna on summon, or interrupt stuff like Jokul or the Vanquish Soul cards can really be helpful. So definitely run 3 of this format. Now, that is all for the monsters. Like I said, I will explain how we're summoning the Titan of Tartarus in a minute, but let's move on to the spells. So to start off our spell lineup, we're going to be running 3 copies of Argostar's Giant Slaying. Now, this card is super good for the deck and exactly the kind of support you want to see in the second line of a deck's cards. So, you add 1 Argostar monster from your deck to your hand. This is a continuous, by the way, so you can do it in the standby phase. Then, immediately after it resolves, if a continuous trap is in your monster zone, or a continuous trap with an effect that special summons itself as a monster is in your spell and trap zone, you can normal summon 1 warrior monster. So say you've got a continuous already, and you activate this, add path, you can just special summon the path for completely free. Now, the reason this is so good is, like I said, it's in standby phase, so you can dodge Droll using it, because you can add in the standby phase and then do your normal summon in the main phase. As well as this, during your main phase, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, because it's 1 effect per turn and only once that turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 2 cards on the field, including an Argostar continuous trap you control, and return them to the hand. So basically, you can banish it from the graveyard and use it as a board breaker, which is super strong and really... It really makes this card versatile. As you can see, we've got an add, but we've also got a board breaker on the same card. So I'm a really big fan of this card, and I really like it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in my hands, using it at locals. Next, we have 1 copy of Argostar's Home Stadium. Now, this card is only a one-off because it's pretty searchable, but once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, add an Argostar card from your graveyard or banishment to your hand, so you're not really getting that off a lot unless you're adding back the Adra for follow-up. Each time a continuous trap in your spell and trap zone is special summoned to your field, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. That effect is pretty nice. We would have a time card if I'd filmed this video about 2 weeks ago, but unfortunately with Konami's new time policy, that doesn't really do anything for us. Once per chain, if a continuous trap activates its effects in your monster zone, while you have a banished Argostar monster, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of the turn. So that's pretty nice. You can do it once per chain in your opponent's turn, because you can activate the Argostar traps in their monster zones, put them back in the spell and trap zone, so you can usually get 2 or 3 interrupts out of that, which is pretty nice to see. I am curious to see what you guys think about Konami's new time policy, so please do tell me that in the comments down below. Now moving on to the spell that we're running for the Eldlich engine, which is the spicy goo that I've been looking forward to sharing with you guys. We're running 3 copies of Delta of Invitation. So when it's activated, you can send a level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your grave, so that is your Titan of Tartarus or your Eldlich. You can only use each of the following effects of Delta once per turn. If a zombie monster is on field, you can special summon a Delta token, and if a monster is added from the graveyard to the hand while it's in the graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. So effectively, how this card's going to work, you can only activate it once per turn, is you're going to be using this to dump Eldlich and start your combo plays. You can use Eldlich, pop it, summon itself, and then Delta add back, so you've got recursion. Or, going second, you activate Delta, and if they let it resolve for any reason, you dump Tartarus summon itself by popping the Delta, or say if you set a card first, you can pop the set card and Delta, summon Tartarus, and pop that many cards on your opponent's side of the field. Unresponsive. So that's pretty nice. You get a free interrupt that they can't respond to on such an awesome card. I think this card is brilliant. Also, the free token is brilliant for link fodder, so I really would recommend running this card at 3. And to kind of supplement that and make sure we draw more, we are also running the 1 copy of Terraforming to add a field spell. Obviously, if you already draw the Delta, you can add this, but most of the time you're going to be wanting to draw the Delta to get your combo started, or to use it as an interrupt in your opponent's turn. Finally, we are running 1 copy of Called by the Grave, and that is just, like I said earlier, to kind of stop us being hand trapped, stop our combos being interrupted. And yeah, that is it for the spells. Let's move on to the traps. So the first card we're running is 2 copies of Argostar's Lightning Tydo. Sorry about the lighting, guys. I will try and fix that for next video. So while this card is face up in the spell and trap zone, warrior monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. Once per turn, you can discard a card, special summon this card as an effect monster from the spell and trap zone with the following effect. Then you can add an Argostar's card from your deck to your hand. And the following effect it gains is once per turn, quick effect, place it face up in your spell and trap zone. So how the Argostar cards all work is they're in your spell and trap zone, you use their effects to summon themselves, and then Tydo is an add on and a discard. The 2 copies of Slayer Ateo we're running are a bounce if you have a banished Argostar monster. And then Swift Kapan makes a monster your opponent control have 0 attack, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, you just gain 500 life points. You just gain 500 life points. That's why we're running this one at 1. No, so yeah, that's why these are all kind of quite good, but you don't really want to be running too many of them. They all summon, and then when they're on the field, they all have a quick effect to put themselves back in the spell and trap zone, triggering the field spell, but also giving you their effects next turn. So Tydo and Slayer Ateo are definitely the best ones, but I really wouldn't recommend running more than 2 of each, just because of the kind of once per turn, not really, I guess, beneficial nature of their effects in your opponent's turn. But that is it for the Argostar traps. Now let's move on to the Eldlich traps. So we do have our mandatory 3 of Eldlich of Scarlet Sanguine to make sure we get into our Eldlich combos. I think that this is kind of standard in every Eldlich list. Just special summons a zombie from deck or grave, but if you control no Eldlich, you can only summon Eldlich. Then after it resolves, you cannot special summon except zombie monsters for the rest of the turn. You can banish this card from grave, set a Golden Land spell, and trap directly from the deck. So that's really great because of the new Golden Land card we've had, but I'll get onto that in a minute. Next, we're running our 3 copies of Conquistador of the Golden Land. Now, this, if you control Eldlich, so you can special summon it, and then if you control Eldlich, you destroy a face-up card on the field. Super good, out skill drain, it outs a lot of monsters that can't be destroyed by monster effects because it's technically a trap, and then it gives you a body, and then it has the effect that you can banish it from grave, set an Eldlich spell trap from your deck. So this used to be that all of these would set Eldlich of Scarlet Sanguine, which is why it wasn't the most consistent deck. But now that we've got another Eldlich that's really good, that card's really great. So that new Eldlich is our 2 copies of Eldlich of the Glorious Golden Land. Now this card simply just pays 800, special summons itself as a normal monster, and returns a monster from field to hand, or sets one of your banished Golden Land or Eldlich spell traps. Now this can work really well with our 1 copy of the Argostar Fierce Path, because we can use its effect, Path's effect, to summon itself and then banish it, set Glorious Golden Land, and flip the Golden Land. Then we can use these, if they've been discarded or sent to grave for whatever reason, to banish and set something, then use this, pay 800 to set the Golden Lands, and then on our opponent's turn we can use its second effect to summon itself as an interrupt. So really strong, solid card, really love it. It's definitely the kind of support Eldlich needed, and yeah, so 2 of that. Finally, we're running the 1 Huacaro. Now, not the best Eldlich card at all, definitely better than Guardian, but I think DD Crow is not really the best card this format, which is why we're only running 1 Golden Land. Finally, for the trap lineup, we are running 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. That's just, standard hand trap. You know, it plays around Izuna, which is definitely why we're running that over other hand traps, but also it's a trap. You want traps in this deck. You know, it negates a whole column of spells. Super strong. But yeah, that is it for the spells, traps, and monsters. Let's move on to the extra deck. So we are going to start off with the Eldlich cards in the extra deck, just because, well, I'll tell you in a minute. So first we have 3 copies of Fallen Angel of the Golden Land. This card is super good. It requires 1 Eldlich, the Golden Lord, plus a zombie monster. However, you can either fusion summon it or special summon it by tributing a light zombie monster while you have Eldlich on your field or grave. This is super cool. You can tribute it over Eldlich, or you can tribute it over any of your traps. So this really gives you a lot more extension. It does not have much attack, but it's the second effect we're using. You can only special summon it once per turn this way, no matter which method you use. But then, if it's sent from field to grave, you can special summon an Eldlich monster from your deck, extra deck, or grave. So you can revive an Eldlich, you can summon one from the deck, or you can summon one of our 2 copies of Mad Golden Lord. A super big tower that can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, has 3800, and then, as an interrupt, contribute, not an interrupt, as a board breaker, I suppose, you contribute 1 zombie monster, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and take control of it, but it cannot attack or activate its effects this turn. These 2 cards together are super strong, whether you link this off and then use the second monster as link fodder, or whether you link this off to summon this and get a tower or use it as a beta. you can't argue that this card is not super strong. That's why we're running 3 of this, 2 of this. Finally, for the Eldlich package, we're running the 1 copy of Flying Mary, the Wandering Ghost Ship. So you can target one of your level 5 or higher zombie monsters that's banished in your grave, place this card in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous spell, and if you do, special summon that monster. While this card is a continuous spell, you can target a level 5 or higher zombie monster you control and destroy a monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to that. When you're summoning this back, or when you're summoning Eldlich back, that is super strong. So I really do like having Flying Mary in the deck. I think it's exactly what the deck needs, and you can kind of only make it in this deck, so you don't really have to prepare for it. But yeah, big fan. Next, we've got 1 copy of SP, 1 copy of Silhouette, and our 2 Nightmare monsters as board breakers. So SP, pretty standard link monster. I think every deck runs SP now. If you don't know what it does, on summon, if you use a link monster, you banish. An extra deck monster, right? Yeah, you can banish a card on the field, and then it's a banish one itself. Banish a card on your side of the field, banish a card on your opponent's side of the field for until end of turn. So definitely got to be running that. It's just a free body you can kind of make easily, and I really love seeing it in this deck. Next, we got our Silhouette, which can set a... So, if it battles a monster, neither is destroyed by that battle. And then, if it's link summoned, you set a continuous trap from your deck with an effect that special summons itself as a monster. Basically, the entire Eldlich Argostar engine, which is pretty nice. Then, if a continuous trap summon, if a card in the spell trap zone is special summoned to the monster zone, target spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. So that is once per turn, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. So it's hard once per turn, but it gives you a free interrupt on a link 2 that can be made with 2 effect monsters. So there's no way you're not running this. Nightmare Phoenix, discards a card, destroys a spell trap. Unicorn, if it's link summoned, discard target card on the field, return it to the deck. So these are kind of my link monster ratios. Not running any more than this, but I could see an argument for maybe, I don't know, Access Code, if you're outing the Mary and the Silhouette Rabbit. But yeah, I think that's kind of all you need to run, really. You don't really have a problem making big bodies to get over your opponent with Mad Golden Lord and Eldlich, so I don't think you need an access code. I think this is kind of all you need. But now let's move on to the Xyz monsters. Now first, we are going to be running 2 copies of the new Argostar monster. That is 2 Argostar Glorious Aerion. Except I don't have it. Yeah, I'm really annoyed. I really love the card. It's so great, but it did not arrive in the mail before I wanted to film this video, and I'm going away tomorrow, so I am going to have to just make do and have 2 Aerion as proxies in this video. So I am sorry about that. I'll put the card on the screen, but basically it's a hell load of recursion, and I really do love the card. I mean, it's kind of a mandatory 2 of. You can't not run it. It's brilliant. It's the best piece of support the deck's seen in a while. And it's a really clean ultra rare with brilliant artwork. So yeah, we're running 2 of that. Then 1 Varudrus and Omni Negate that you can summon with 2 or more level 10s. So obviously Eldlich, Mad Golden Lord. Then we're running 1 copy of Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. Yeah, I mean, you can't really fit both into this deck, both of the trains, so I just decided to run this as kind of a burn card. Obviously, time's not a thing anymore, so the package isn't as good, but I guess just for outing big bodies, you can still run, not outing big bodies, if you can't get around big bodies, you can just use this as chip damage or to finish the game. Finally, we've got our 1 copy of Superstar Slayer Typhon to finish out our extra deck, and that is just, like I said, it's in many videos before, it's just a free body that you can special summon and then use as a floodgate or as a board breaker. But yeah, that is it for our extra deck, and honestly, that is it for our deck. But yeah, that has been my Argostar Eldlich deck profile. Please do let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and let me know what you think of Konami's new time rules as well. Now let's talk about the thing I've been waiting to share with you guys, my exciting news. I am going to be changing my name from Arlecchino King of Cards to King of Cards. Yes, unfortunately I will be getting rid of our titular mascot, which is a shame because I'm a big fan of Arlecchino, but this is for 2 reasons. 1, I'm not really sure about the copyright laws on Arlecchino, so I don't know if I would get sued if I potentially became a bigger channel, which I don't mind if I do, but if I do, it's nice, isn't it? But also because I want to be branching out into other TCGs, mainly the Digimon TCG. I've been playing it a lot online lately and I've been having a lot of fun, and my first deck is going to be arriving in the mail tomorrow. I'm going to be filming a video on that next week, so if you do want to see that, stick around. If not, that's okay. I will still be filming Yu-Gi-Oh videos as well. It's not going to be a complete switch. I'm just going to be adding it to the roster. So expect lots of new content soon, a lot of new types of content. I've got some videos lined up that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you, so please do stick around for them. But yeah, I have been King of Cards. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye.